You will not believe what we found today. There is a series of photos of the famous actress Claudia Cardinale that are getting a lot of attention. And honestly, they leave very little to the imagination. Yes, you heard that right. These pictures show a side of Claudia that is bold, confident, and very different from the usual movie star photos you have seen before. But before you scroll away, let me tell you why these photos are worth a closer look. Claudia Cardinale is not just any actress. She is one of the most famous faces from the 1960s and 1970s. She starred in classic movies that people still talk about today. But these pictures show a very personal and daring side of her that most fans did not know about. Back in the day, Claudia was known for her charm, her smile, and her ability to make every role unforgettable. People admired her on the big screen, but these photos show a more private side. She appears relaxed, bold, and completely herself. There is a certain confidence in the way she looks at the camera that is hard to ignore. Now, you might be wondering who took these pictures. Most of them were done by photographers who worked with top magazines at the time. They were meant to capture her personality in a very natural way. But what makes these photos stand out is the courage it took to step in front of the camera like that. Claudia was not afraid to express herself, and it shows in every frame. Take a moment to really notice her expression. There is a softness in her eyes, but also strength. It is almost as if she is telling a story without saying a single word. And the way she poses, sometimes playful, sometimes serious, makes the images even more captivating. You can feel the energy she had at that time. It is not just about the boldness. These photos give us a glimpse into the fashion and style of the era. The 1960s and 1970s were a time of big changes, and Claudia's outfits reflect that. Even though some pictures leave very little to the imagination, her sense of style is clear. From flowing dresses to striking swimsuits, she was always ahead of her time. What is really interesting is how these pictures have resurfaced. For many years, they were tucked away in old magazines or private collections. But now, fans all over the world can see them. And it is amazing how someone who was famous decades ago can still capture attention like this. It is proof that true charisma never fades. Some people might feel shocked by these images. That is normal. But instead of judging, it is better to see them as a piece of history. Claudia Cardinale was an artist, and these photos are part of her story. They show a different layer of her personality, bold, free-spirited, and unafraid. Let us not forget that Claudia was much more than her looks. She was a talented actress who worked hard to become one of the most respected names in cinema. These images just add another dimension to her life, showing that she could express herself in many ways, both on screen and off-screen. And here is something that makes these photos even more fascinating. They show us a side of fashion and photography that is rarely seen today. In those days, photographers focused on natural beauty, movement, and emotion. There was no heavy editing or digital effects. What you see in these pictures is raw, real, and human. Notice the lighting, the shadows, and the way she holds herself. Every little detail tells a story. The photos are not just bold, they are also artistic. Photographers used simple techniques to highlight her curves, her posture, and her expression. You can see the care and thought that went into every shot. Over time, people have talked about Claudia Cardinale in many ways. Some remember her as a screen icon, while others admire her personal life and charm. These photos remind us that she was more than just a character in a movie. She was a real person with confidence, personality, and presence. It is also worth mentioning that Claudia's story inspires people even now. She showed that it is okay to embrace who you are and to step out of the usual norms. And that is something everyone can relate to, whether you are interested in acting, fashion, or just life in general. So, if you have never seen these images before, take a moment to appreciate them. They are bold, yes, but they are also full of life. They capture a moment in time when someone famous dared to show a side of herself that was private, daring, and real. And that makes them unforgettable. In the end, Claudia Cardinale's photos are more than just pictures. They are a glimpse into history, into style, and into a person who was unapologetically herself. They remind us that courage comes in many forms, and that art can be found in unexpected places. So the next time you see one of these images, do not just glance over it. Look closely. Notice the expression, the details, and the story behind it. You might find that there is more to it than meets the eye. Thanks for sticking with me until the end. If you enjoyed seeing a different side of Claudia Cardinale, make sure to check out more about her movies and her life. You will be surprised at how fascinating her story really is.